What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Will Brinson Happy Fun Time Hour. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your I don't know. I'm Will Brinson. Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. It's Tuesday. We're gonna do some betting trends. Actually, this may be a Patriots AFC East centric show because I want to get we got anyway. It's Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day you're listening to the podcast. Who knows? We're 6 weeks into the season. This is where NFL teams start getting buys. You know, doesn't get buys. Hard-working NFL writers like John Breech and Tyler Sullivan, who join me.
Brinson, first, I just want to say that glad you changed the name to the Super Happy Fun Hour, as I suggested. It's a great,
What was the
great name change.
Where is the Super Happy Fun Time? What is that from?
I don't know.
It's from something, I'm sure. The other thing is that I'm sorry that you did not work bye weeks into your contract, man. You got to think about that with your next deal. You got to get.
I heard a rumor that
4 bye weeks.
I don't know if I don't know if this is actually true. It should be. Like, I mean, we've talked about this for the last few years. Also, Sully, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's going on?
Breech doesn't allow anybody to talk. It's unbelievable. It's
I stopped talking and then you chimed in.
I'm under the weather anyways. My voice is a little raspy, so I don't mind.
Are you really? You know, you could be like, hey, look, I can't do the Tuesday show.
No, like you said, we're sports writers. We grind.
No days off.
We grind. Come on.
Hey, you're a Belichick guy. Oh, did you swap around your background there?
A little bit, yeah. I got a new desk and I'm moving some things around.
And a haircut? Did you get a haircut?
I did get a haircut. Look
at you still win $6 million. All of a sudden, he's like kicking the fiance out of that house, getting a new desk. By the way, a quick update, if you care, and maybe surely nobody does care. I won't win $6 million personally, but I'm perfectly fine if it's not like a conglomerate. It's the group that I'm with. It wins the $6 million. There are, let's see, how many? Oh my goodness. This is no joke. This is no joking matter. There are 374 people left in the Circa Survivor. It's $6.3 million to first place. It's week 6 and there's 374 people left. That is effing crazy. I need to see how many. I'll look and see how many it is, but obviously, a lot of people entered this.
Yeah, I would assume so, right? I mean, you also make it sound like it's an ownership group, like you're about to buy a team. Like the group is in 300th or whatever in the circus. Pretty funny.
Well, I mean, no. There's only one. I
know what you mean.
Well, and looking at the numbers, 2 of the 3 most popular picks for week 6, Buccaneers over Steelers, Packers over Jets, 49ers over Falcons. So that's 3 of the top 4. 3 of the top 4.
All right, 40. So I think week 1. Remember weeks 1 and 2 were insane. Or maybe week 1 was. There were. I mean, look, we were down to 7 people in a local survivor pool. It was like $22K to first, or $22K. And it's maybe spread across 3 places. Which is 3 places is stupid, but whatever. We went Bucks and should have gone Rams. And the worst thing is in this chat I'm in on a football related chat that I'm in online, people were like, oh, love the Panthers this week. And I was, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. I was went on a kind of an unhinged rant about why would you bet on the Panthers? And then naturally I talked myself into taking the Panthers against the spread and convinced myself the Panthers could win. You can't go Rams in Survivor. I mean, this is just the Panthers stink. Anyway, the point being is that 374 people left in a Survivor with 374 entries left. It's possible there's people with multiple. $6.3 million to first. Now, Sully, am I getting $3 million? No. If we win, but I will tell you this.
You've done the math. You obviously have done the math.
I know how much I'm getting, yes. If we win.
Wait, who did you guys take in week 6?
We had the Eagles.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
It was not so nice about 2 minutes ago in the third quarter. The Cowboys got freaking Cooper Rush got to the 3 points. Point being is, yes, if presumably, or I guess it's not a guarantee, but there's a decent chance that if we did win, it would occur on Sunday. We'd know about Sunday night. So
yeah, So that's gonna be a fun podcast. Are you
So
gonna,
if
are you gonna
Brinson
show up?
doesn't
Is
I'll
it
be
gonna
like
be
this.
up,
I'll be like this. Like,
Thanksgiving podcast is going to be because he just won $6 million. Or
That's
570.
Do you think 374 people are making it to Thanksgiving?
Yes. No, I don't think 374 are. It goes down to one person. I think that it goes to Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's good. Over under Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. We'll
That's
count the
week
Sunday
12.
of Thanksgiving
I think
too.
that's
Over under
week 12.
Thanksgiving weekend.
How many weeks
For
away? 1, 2, 3.
Thanksgiving
about a month away. Okay.
weekend.
this
is
week
12.
looks kind of easy, which is dangerous.
Always
anyway.
dangerous. Nothing's been easy about this NFL season.
Well, but I'm just saying it's not easy, but it's like Bengals -6 versus the Falcons. Not easy. Ravens -6.5 with the Browns. Cowboys -7 with the Lions, and Dak back from injury. Okay, those are three actually.
Maybe back.
I don't want anything to do with those 3 games. Buccaneers at Panthers. I mean, the Bucs just pooped their pants at Steelers, but the Panthers are really bad.
Jets Broncos.
I don't. You taking
Desperate
Jets?
Broncos team who only
not
plays
taking the Broncos, bro. Broncos stink. Raiders -7 at home against the Texans. They're coming off a bye. Is not bad. Chargers -6. Oh, Seahawks. No. Dolphins -7 against the Steelers. No. Okay, I lied. Actually, you know who the survivor pick is? Billy B. And Bailey Zappi against the Chicago Bears.
Possibly.
Although somebody pointed out that that the Pats have had trouble with mobile QBs this year. I don't know how true that is.
I think that's been kind of a theme regardless, but the linebackers are a lot faster. I mean, again, I think they're just as big of a problem for any defense. I don't think it's been like a super glaring weakness.
Well, let's just actually use that as a transition to talk about the Patriots. So this is the betting trend show. I think we're trying to fire up some kind of so the Cover 3 guys do a like a Monday show that's like after further review or something or whatever it's called. But it's basically like taking deep dives into bigger topics around the college football world. So I guess we could do that. Sure.
I'm here for it.
Patriots are 3-3, Sully.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they were 0-3 or 1-2, I can't remember what the hell the record was. The Patriots, it is, okay, let me put it this way. The Patriots, with the way that Bill Belichick operates, I feel like they are in a okay spot. 2 straight wins with Bailey Zappi. They have the Bears coming up. They have the Jets appear to be good. Ryan Wilson was laughing at me for suggesting that Belichick owns the Pats on Sunday night, when the reality is he hasn't lost to them since 2015, I think, or 2015.
You mean the Bears?
No, they're going to beat the Bears this week.
Yeah.
I'm saying
he owns the Jets. I got you.
They have two games against the Jets. One Bears at home on Monday night, at the Jets the following Sunday, Colts at home the following Sunday after that, and then Jets at home. So 4 games in which the Patriots, I think they have to be favored at the Jets. Oh my God, if you give me the Pats plus points at the Jets, then I am getting snuggly with that.
Yeah, I would lean with you on that way. This has always been an easy portion of their schedule, even when we were looking at it in the spring. You know, it's a little tough out of the gate. You had 3 out of your first 4 games on the road against superior defenses, what we thought they were going to be in the Steelers and the Ravens, and even the Packers. We thought in Lambeau was going to be a difficult game.
They almost won that game.
And once you start kind of that Lions, Browns, Bears stretch, this is when you're supposed to pile up wins. It also just so happened to coincide with Bailey Zappi coming in. So as much as we're talking about a quarterback controversy, I almost am like, all right, well, we knew that this was going to be an easier schedule. Like, Mac Jones could probably do all the same things that Zappi has been able to do over the last few weeks. My biggest concern with the overall big picture season prospect of the Patriots is what is after this stretch. You play the Vikings after that second Jets game.
Yeah.
You play
Vikings,
the Vikings,
Bills, Cardinals, Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins, Bills.
4 straight primetime games.
But my larger point is that I think, starting 1-3 is obviously not what Bill Belichick wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to 3-3, not perfect. But if they win the next 4 games, and again, they should be favored.
Mm-hmm.
Belichick hates the Jets. He hates the Browns. He quit. The Browns / the Ravens technically are the only team that has ever fired him, and he quit the Jets job. And by the way, that second Jets game is after the bye.
I think one of the things that's kind of not underrated, but
I guess what I'm asking is, are the Patriots good?
Well, I think Belichick really likes this team. Like, I think he genuinely likes how this football team is operating and how it's playing. They're not asking a quarterback to do too much. They're just playing within the system, playing great defense, turning the ball over, and running the daylights out of the football. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson, as much as Damian Harris has been good over the last few weeks, I feel that Ramondre Stevenson has a higher overall ceiling than Harris. So the fact that Harris is going to miss maybe the next couple of weeks here due to injury, I actually think it helps the backfield a little bit more just because you have a little bit more of a versatile weapon in Stevenson. You saw last week, he ripped off that 30-something yard gain. I believe it was on like a draw on third down too. They were just playing for a field goal at that point, and he turns it into a touchdown. I think the general...
what kind of play was it? I'm sorry.
A draw. And so...
A draw.
I think he likes the overall style of which his football team's playing right now. And that's a little exciting because all of a sudden, if you get Mac Jones back for this Monday night game against Chicago, that's an easy game to start, getting his feet back in. And if you have a raised quarterback ceiling, which I still believe that Mac Jones is a better quarterback right now than Bailey Zappi,
sure.
All right, you're going to be competitive.
Yeah, but I feel like I just don't think Belichick is in a rush to get Mac Jones back out there. This is kind of the Dak situation, except Bailey Zappi are much closer in talent. Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones are much closer in talent than Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott. So there's literally zero reason, especially with how Zappi's playing. You talked about how obviously Belichick wasn't happy with the 1-3 start, but I think if you told a Patriots fan that this team would be 3-3 going into week 7 before the season, they probably would have been fine with that because you look at the schedule. The Packers were there. The Ravens were there. I'm sure that you really probably didn't expect to win either of those games. So that's 2 losses, and maybe they slip up in one more spot. And the thing is, they probably could have beaten the Packers. I'm sure Bailey Zappi.
They definitely could have beaten the Packers.
They had, if Brian Hoyer doesn't get hurt, if you're not down to your third string quarterback, I'm guessing Bailey Zappi didn't take a ton of practice reps going into that week. Obviously, he has taken all of them since then, but and that game was still close. And this defense has just been unbelievable. I'm all Patriots. I'm all in on the Patriots right now. I think that this team could potentially make the playoffs.
The question is, though, when we're talking about when does Mac come back or does Bailey stay in, and this is something that's been talked about on local radio, so it's not a genuine take from me. It's just something that's being talked about, is when do you bring him back then? Because if you're not bringing him back against Chicago,
22 years after Bailey Zappi wins you 6 Super Bowls.
Well, it's true. I mean, there is a question because if you play this game against Chicago and Bailey Zappi looks like he did in Cleveland and each of his starts, he's been playing better and better. You're not going to bring Mac Jones back in what is kind of a sneaky big game in New York against the Jets, who you're trying to...
It's not kind of a sneaky big game. It's a huge game.
Right. So a huge game trying to claw back into the division.
All right. So the Jets, who do we say the Jets are playing this week?
They're playing the Broncos in Denver.
Broncos. Yeah.
If the total's 40, the spread is 3. Like the Broncos, we all agree the Broncos are not great, even Breech. It's not implausible that Zach Wilson and Robert Saleh and company roll in there and beat Denver. Like that wouldn't be weird the way that the Jets team is playing and sort of the matchup against that Broncos team and how how Denver is playing.
And so then you're talking about
it would be
the earliest.
Is that game on CBS? Hopefully that's on CBS.
You're talking the earliest for a Mac Jones return is against Indy in week 9. But if Zappi's playing well, do you just ride him till the bye?
I think you absolutely
games. You play Zappi against the Colts and go into your bye and give Mac an extra week.
Definitely. Why not ride Zappi?
Because then we're talking about him maybe going, what would it be? 4-0, 5-0 in the bye? And then
that's exactly what you do. That's exactly what you do. Because if you play Bailey Zappi to the bye and he goes 5-0, then he's just your starter. There's no question about it. You move forward and
you back up Bledsoe. That's all. That's the bottom line.
Right. But then if he struggles, against the Bears or the Jets, then you just say, all right, we're going to back Mac Jones. That makes your decision easy. You don't have to think about it. Because I think we look at Prescott's injury. When we got to week 3, everybody's like, there's no way he's going to miss this showdown with the Eagles. That game's way too big.
I didn't say that.
Brinson, you did not say that. You said I would hold him out to the bye, which is the same thing we're saying here. And it's that now you have the showdown with the Jets, and you're saying the same things with Dak. Is we got to get Mac Jones back on the field for the showdown with the Jets. I think you keep Zappy playing until the bye, and then just kind of reassess the situation.
If you're the Patriots, you ride Bailey Zappi as long as possible. Not just because like he's playing well, but mostly because Mac Jones is dealing with a high ankle sprain. Like, awesome if Mac Jones can get back out there and play. Mac Jones is a warrior. He's tough. Like, I get it, but you don't. If you can get him 4 more weeks of rest, 5 more weeks of rest. I'm doing pinky. You are helping him for the short term, and 2, it's helping you for the long term. You don't need Mac Jones out there on a bad ankle, limping around, like ineffectively operating an offense.
So you guys both seem Breech said he's all in on the Patriots. Brinson, it sounds like you're pretty optimistic too. Let's, throw it back into the betting trends kind of narrative. Plus 196 to make the playoffs. Yes or no?
Give it to me now. I'll take it.
Breech wants to, Breech didn't even want to nibble. Breech wants to gobble some one night plus 196. Scroll down a little bit, Billy, and let's look at the schedule. Good job, Sully. Way to actually host something. Way to. So I don't think it's crazy to suggest that they could get a 1 win against the Bills. Don't get me wrong. The Bills are a much better team.
What's our classic argument too, Brinson, that we bring up every year? What's that final game?
That's
Week
right.
18. Maybe the Bills are resting starters.
Now, having said that, Sean McDermott does have a pretty robust history of beating the snot out of division opponents in week 18 with his backups. So you don't want to get, but like if the Bills are sitting guys and it's at Buffalo, I don't know why it's scheduled for 4 a.m. Eastern time. That's a weird.
Are those week 18 games like TBD though?
Oh yeah, it's got to be a TBD.
It
it's a quirk on the NFL.com schedule page.
Yeah.
Reading straight off the prompter. Got Ron Burgundy here.
No, I mean, literally says 4 a.m. on the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/pick6. By the way, if you're watching, hit the like button, smash the like, lightly tap the like button, whatever you want to do. All right. So I'm of the opinion they're going to win their next 4 games and be 7-3. So the question then becomes, the questions become: 1, what do you need? How many wins do you need to get the playoffs in the AFC? And then 2, what do the Patriots do from week 12 on? Let's say they lose both to Buffalo, then that's not even like a crazy idea.
I think one of the benefits of the schedule is them having Miami in Foxborough late in the year. Typically, it always feels like they play them in Foxborough early in the season, then they have to go down to Miami, and that's always a house of horrors for them. So that's one.
They already got housed. Yeah, they already got horror housed earlier. And look, it's just hard to go down to Miami in September. It's hard to leave New England at any point and go down to Miami and play because it's 200 degrees warmer down there. Just like it's hard. Oh, thank you, Sid and Stim, for gently caressing the like button. At any rate, at Vikings.
I'll just say there, Bill
Is that
Belichick.
a primetime game with Kirk Cousins?
Belichick
My.
Thursday night. Belichick versus Kirk Cousins on 3 days rest. Who are you taking there?
In prime time. So yeah.
In prime time.
That's right. Make sure the Vikings. I just want to see what the Vikings have before they play the Pats. I would assume
they're on the bye this week, so it's not a bye.
Yeah.
They play the Cowboys. So equally huge game.
They have the Cowboys. Is that the Cowboys on?
Cowboys in Minnesota on the Sunday before they play the Patriots.
Is the Patriots game Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Thanksgiving night. It's the night one.
It was the night before Thanksgiving.
I mean, look, I'm going to take. I'll be taking the Pats. Whatever the point, the Pats won't be favored, and I will take the Pats right now to win and to cover, obviously. So I'm going to give. I think they're 8-3, 8-4 after they lose to Buffalo. My goodness, 4 straight primetime games. You're not kidding me, Sully. Let's say 8-4. I mean, at Arizona, at Vegas, both in primetime. It feels like 1-1 is a fair.
Remember that Vegas one is Josh McDaniels, Belichick rematch or whatever you want to call it. And, you're talking 8 wins there.
Hey, don't forget Belichick versus former Patriots quarterback Cliff Kingsbury the week before that.
Wow. Look, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, we're right there with that 8 number minus 120 to go over right now at Caesars.
It's
plus
8?
100 under 8.
I'm sorry. The over under is 8.
Their over-under is 8 right now.
You hammer that.
Minus 120 is the over.
They're gonna all right. So they're gonna go 1-1 against the Cardinals and Raiders. I think they could lose both. It's possible.
Kyler Murray threw for all of 170 yards the last time he faced the Patriots.
And I'll tell you this too. I mean, a little bit more when we go into our Thursday night stuff. Murray right now is 0-4 straight up and against the spread in his last 4 primetime games.
Ooh, and let's not forget the new Call of Duty comes out soon.
I mean, come on now.
Did you see the Seahawks tweet with Pete Carroll?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. This like one of the best one of the best like NFL team Twitter troll jobs of all time. So it's Pete Carroll photoshopped onto like the Cliff Kingsbury, like kicking it at my house for the draft. Like when Cliff's like sitting there with like 3 phones. When he at his house for the draft?
Yeah, it was like his, the fireplace, the whole thing, the pool in the background.
Yeah. But they edited the background so it's Seattle instead of his backyard. And they edited his head so it's Pete Carroll instead of Cliff Kingsbury. And they edited the monitor and the they edited a big 2 of the monitors. One of them has a picture of Kyler Murray in a bright Seahawks green like suit, like walking in, and the other one says double XP weekend. Now, I, like you two, were probably like, what the hell is double XP weekend? So I Googled it.
I know exactly all this. I know that whole thing.
You know what double XP weekend is?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I play Call of Duty.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I'm 28, like 29. So like I was right in the thick about 32. That.
I'm just kidding. 28 or 29. No wonder you're taking.
I forgot my age though because I'm old. I am 29. I don't know why I said 28. So I am getting old.
Okay, I forgot how I tell people don't believe when I say this, but I literally forgot how old I was for a year. It was awesome. I thought I was a year older than I actually was.
Oh, that's good. You always wanted.
I got a free year.
Yeah,
I'm still working that thing off. Like I'm still trying to use that free year up. There you go. Look at this.
Oh, that's beautiful.
All right, so let's zoom in on the screen there, the 2 monitors. So the laptop has Kyler Murray and like a bright green Seahawks thing, and then double XP weekend breach, or I guess Sully, you can explain it. It's like
so basically it's like you play online and it's double bonus points. It's basically all it is. So that during that weekend,
but it's about Call of Duty.
As if you play well on Call of Duty, you get double points. It's just the whole weekend.
Joke is that Kyler is they are literally making fun of Kyler's contract clause. Like a fellow team. See, and this is why like Matt Rule trying to like hold down the Panthers Twitter. Like, what are you doing? Let these guys get loose. These social this is clever as hell. And by the way, I thought that was Pete Carroll posing like that at first, but then I was like, wait a minute. He would never wear that shirt. And he would definitely have like socks and old man whatever shoes Billy thinks I'm wearing right now.
Like his white Nikes. All white Nikes. That's all what he'd be wearing.
That's right, yeah. He would not wear loafers with. And actually, I think if you look at this, you can see, no, that's top of a water bottle. Why does Cliff have so many water bottles on the floor?
Thirsty.
I guarantee you that Cliff has those really like the low. I need to get some of those, by the way. The super low cut socks. You know what I'm talking about?
Those are nice.
But it looks like you're not wearing socks, which is like, ooh, look at this. Victor Garcia, Sully's my age. Team Sully, we both wouldn't get married if we won $1 million. I don't know that Sully needs. Sully doesn't even need this. What's your number, Sully? Is it like? Does it have to be? Do you need
to call off the wedding? Or
no. Like you're like 6 million. You didn't flinch.
Oh, okay.
So nobody even asked you. You volunteered it. It's 6 million. Would 1 million?
No.
Suffice to say, 2 million. We'll get the
2 million. 2 million. I'm like, all right. Listen, we had a great run.
I spit water all over my desk. All right,
so we're not going to be able to ask Sully money questions anymore. It's going to be banned from the podcast, so he doesn't get in trouble.
Separate Sully podcast.
Not even banned from the podcast.
We had a good run. That actually should be the theme of this podcast. We had a good run.
It was a good run.
Okay, so anyway, so the takeaway here from a betting perspective, Patriots over 8 games. Maybe I'm just drinking the Bailey Zappi Kool-Aid here.
Well, quickly, it's because we're looking at two different odds here. I forget what it was. It was plus money if they make the playoffs, minus
Plus
120 if they
170
get
to
over,
make the playoffs, I think.
and so minus 120 over 8 wins. How many wins gets them to the playoffs?
Yeah, we didn't answer that question. I think. Oh boy.
Is it 9? Because if it's 9, just take them to make the playoffs.
All right, so let's say Buffalo is in as the division champion. One team from the AFC North gets in. One team from the AFC South gets in. Doesn't seem crazy, right? Chargers and Chiefs get in. So then it comes down to 2 wildcard teams remaining. And one of them is probably coming from the AFC East the way that these 3 teams look so far. Although goodness knows the Patriots have a humiliating 0.294 strength of victory right now. I think I would rather take the over 8 wins versus the playoff.
Yeah.
Because I do think there's a chance that the Patriots are not as good as we think they are. That they're beating up bad competition. That they go 3-1 in their next 4 games. Totally reasonable.
And we also don't know exactly like where these wins are going to fall. Like, yeah, we think that, okay, of course, maybe they sweep the Jets or something. But if you lose to Miami, they have the head-to-head tiebreaker with the sweep on the season. You never know how those tie-breaking situations are going to go.
Right. And look, the Jets could beat them once. I mean, they haven't beaten them since 2015, but like this Jets team, it certainly appears to be different.
You just need them to go 5-6 the rest of the way, and you at least get your money back. And if they go 6-5, then you're over cash. I definitely feel like the over under here is the safer bet, even though obviously the value is not as good, but it is minus 120 on over 8 wins, plus 100 on under 8 wins. I mean, 5 wins feels like
I'm looking to see if that's available locally.
That's from Caesars, the minus 120 on the over 8. And that it feels like a lock. I mean, Brinson, you kind of walked through the schedule here, and 3-1 seems very realistic in their next 4 games, and that gets them up to 6. And then you just need them to win 3 of those final 8. Like that seems doable.
I mean, they basically have to go 1-1 against the Bengals and Dolphins, and 1-1 against the Raiders and Cardinals, and then steal at Vikings, at Vikings or one of the Bills games, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's a bet. That is,
and so just before we go to break, does any of that, if like let's say they reach that ceiling, they get over 8 wins, they even make the playoffs, does that make you think about going 40-1 on Belichick Coach of the Year?
Yes, that's a good look. Wow.
After that start,
if Belichick starts 1-3 and makes the playoffs
with Bailey Zappi,
yeah,
there's a lot of crazy candidates though.
I mean, it's what's so tough. I mean, Nick Sirianni, Dayball. I mean, all those guys are.
Well, and
Kevin O'Connell.
You would need a collapse from those teams for Belichick to even be considered.
All right, fine. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about
more Call of Duty.
More Call of Duty next. All right, so Billy's, please, I beg you, break. This is not available at I don't think I see it at Caesars, but they have defensive player of the year, comeback player, offensive rookie, defensive rookie, and coach of the year available there. But I thought this was kind of interesting. I saw some offensive player of the year odds. And Breech, maybe you'll appreciate this. Maybe you won't. I don't care if you will or not. I took AJ Brown 66-1 and Jamar Chase 33-1.
Ooh.
Offensive player of the year. Now, obviously, I mean, you got to deal with like Cooper Kupp. You got to deal with all the quarterbacks. The thing about offensive player of the year that has sort of changed in the last few years is that it typically does not go to a quarterback. It's sort of best skill position player who can't be MVP because quarterbacks only win MVP. That's basically what offensive player of the year has become. I feel like, or if there's a really like a great quarterback season behind the MVP, it's like, here, congratulations, here's your second place trophy. I also feel like the sort of the like that the offensive player of the year is a very recency biased award in the sense that if someone lights up the final 6 weeks of the season, then they are a decent chance to steal that award. So I'm just throwing that out there as two possibilities of something you might want to look at.
And quickly, Breech, didn't that happen last year with Chase? He kind of took a little bit slow to get started, and then it just exploded down the stretch. I mean,
Mac was winning the award.
Yeah, we were talking about Mac Jones winning Rookie of the Year, and then Jamar Chase got hot.
Mac Jones was minus 1,200 going into Week 16, and Jamar Chase went nuts against the Chiefs and stole it.
Should have bet on Jamar.
That's an interesting one. I mean, he did have this was
225 yards or something like something saying.
Yeah.
All right. Thursday night, Cardinals minus 1.5. I guess we're supposed to talk about these games. At home against the Saints. The Cardinals, of course, just traded for Robbie Anderson, therefore securing their wide receiver core. It's actually Hollywood Brown is out for the foreseeable future, probably going on IR, but there's some hope he'll return this season. Robbie Anderson brought in to try and sort of help that. DeAndre Hopkins is active for this game. That's pretty big. Marshawn Lattimore's status is enormous as it relates to Hopkins. I think like that's, to me, that's sort of where this game hinges, because you saw Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow go off in the Superdome. Now, granted, they have a lot of success there. They really like the Superdome. But Cardinals at home, you mentioned Kyler Murray stinks in primetime. Like Marshawn Lattimore, to me, is probably the difference maker in this game, because if he's healthy and playing, and he didn't play last week, he's going to be on DeAndre Hopkins, who should be fairly rusty. And if he's not, then Hopkins could possibly go off here. Any trends worth noting on this game, Sully?
Well, you said that, that Murray hasn't been great in primetime. The Cardinals haven't been good at home. 1-7 ATS in their last 8 games at State Farm Stadium. They don't play well at home. They play well typically more on the road. And as much as we're saying, we don't know, right? Do we know is it Jameis? Is it Dalton yet? I probably should know that. But
Dalton's hurt.
I would think it's going to be Dalton.
It might be Taysom.
Well, they're both banged up, but you only have 3 days to prepare. I think you'll probably roll with the starting quarterback you had the week before, assuming he's healthy enough to play.
And I know this will pain Breech, but Dalton has not been good in prime time either. 6-18 straight up, 9-15 against the spread in prime time. And I think that's the second lowest since 2000 or something like that. That was the research team who had that one. But yeah, so you have 2 quarterbacks that haven't particularly played well in prime time. You have the Cardinals who don't play well at home. I still feel like I might like the Cardinals a little bit more. Like you were saying, the Lattimore situation is probably what has me picking one way or the other. But that's really about it. I mean, obviously, Hollywood Brown being out. They still have Rondale Moore, who I think has been better over the last few weeks and obviously since last year. They have Zach Ertz, who's playing extremely well. They have pieces. It's just a matter of who's healthy on the New Orleans side. And is Michael Thomas, Olave, Jarvis Landry, are those guys going to play, or are they going to miss another week?
That's Jeff Duncan, Saints beat writer, reported that on Monday that the Saints likely won't have Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Thomas, or Jarvis Landry, but they do think they will have Chris Olave back. So they are definitely beat up. But Brinson, to your point,
so no, I mean,
Hopkins
cards.
Yes,
I mean, desperate cards team against the Saints defense that didn't really slow down the Bengals and has 2 quarterbacks who are really banged up and could really, really use Sean Payton coaching this team to try and figure out a way to circumnavigate the Cardinals defense, which is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I think I lean cards here.
I agree with Stu Brumhill in the chat, by the way. This game could be properly stinky. Amazon is
we're used to properly stinky on Thursday night. That's all we get on Thursday night. We went from Broncos.
A great tagline for Amazon. It's like Amazon Thursday night on Prime.
They should be selling like that potpourri. You should have to click on the link while you're watching the game. Like, is this game too stinky?
Would you say that this game is desperate, Breech?
I would say both teams are desperate. Is it
Billy? Play the damn clip.
Billy's taking a nap.
Billy's asleep at the wheel.
Desperation.
I can't believe that this.
He's a Celtics game tonight. He's going up to Boston, my area.
Is he? Or for the Sixers?
Sixers.
They still have Ben Simmons on that team?
They do not.
I'm kidding. I just like to remember. Deva's like, Ben Simmons is still great. He's my basketball Carson Wentz. I'm dragging Debo. Also,
I'm doing a lot of other things over here, Brinson.
What are you doing?
Don't come for me. Don't come for me. I'm making you look good.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you this too, real quickly, about how
For who?
sneaky Thursday nights have been. 36.7 points per game this season on Thursday Night Football. That's the lowest scoring Thursday game since 2006. It's kind of gross. They should just put like toilet paper on Amazon, like you were saying, Breech. Like,
so just real quickly, and I know we're supposed to be talking about the games and betting trades and whatever, but you know what, whatever. Like this is a sort of a catch-all fun show. Saints Cardinals next Thursday is actually decent, potentially. Ravens at Buccaneers, although it could be matchup of 2, 3, and 4 teams for all we know. The week after that, Eagles at Texans. The week after that, Thursday night, Falcons at Panthers.
Ugh.
Sign me up. I love watching the
Titans
Falcons.
at Packers. That's a LaFleur revenge game, but could stink too. Bills at Lions. That's the Thanksgiving game. Never mind. Bills at Patriots. Amazon is getting Raiders at Rams. 49ers at Seahawks. Jaguars at Jets. What is happening?
I mean, there's at least 2 of those games where the line's going to be 10.5.
These games stink.
But then what's the last one? You can't stop at Jags Jets. There's one more after that.
Okay. Cowboys at Titans.
That's not a bad way to end the season.
Sure, whatever. All right, Billy's like exasperated. It's so fun exasperating Billy and Devo. They're like, you've talked about one game. It's 36 minutes in. So Giants Jaguars. Speaking of stinky games, Giants 5-1, very good for them. Jaguars looked like they were going to win the division, and now not so much.
And by the way, back to the Cardinals game real quick. The Cardinals have signed Rodrigo Blankenship. Oh,
friend
hot
of the
rod.
podcast.
Friend of the podcast is landing in Arizona. Might be kicking on Thursday. Keep an eye on that.
Well, they when they activated Hopkins, they cut the guy
Amendola.
Yeah, Matt Amendola. Thank you. Anyway, Giants at Jaguars. Jaguars -3, total 42.5. We talked about this game on the early look ahead. Breech had the Giants +2.5 as the best bet. It went up to Jags -3, and then actually creeped. It was trying to creep to Jags -3.5, which was really, really surprising. The Giants feel like such an obvious bet here. I'm probably going to end up talking myself when I'm writing my picks column into taking the Jaguars, because like every one of their brothers is going to be on the Giants. Yeah. This line stinks out loud.
It's so weird. It's a weird line. I mean, the Giants have been so good as an underdog this season. They're 5-1 against the spread, 4-0 straight up as a dog. And maybe we're getting trapped. Maybe we're just getting trapped.
It looks like a wide open bear trap.
Well, the thing is, and we're going to talk about this other game later, but it does feel like the 2 biggest trap lines of week 7 involve the New York teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of them will lose. I don't know which one. I just think that everybody's so set that these are stinky lines that maybe at least one of them's right. But with this one, I'll say real quick, Jacksonville, 3rd best in the NFL against the run. So maybe they just say, you know what, we're just going to absolutely shut down Saquon Barkley and see if Daniel Jones can beat us. And, Daniel Jones hasn't been asked to put an entire game on his shoulders for 4 quarters. We've seen him do some good things in a 4th quarter, but can he sustain that over an entire game if a team is just shutting down Saquon Barkley? And one other thing about this game, Jacksonville has lost 18 straight games to NFC teams, and they are 2-16 against the spread in those games.
And Trevor Lawrence hasn't been good against the spread. I mean, since last year, since he's come into the league, 7-16 against the spread. He just hasn't, really been great in this spot. But if we want to do this whole anti-New York thing, like these both feel fishy, if you lay the points with both the Jaguars and the Broncos in like a 2-legger, that's +264 at Caesars.
If you lay the points,
yeah. Do you want to just do
a
money line parlay? Let's see.
I got fired up. So Jets were plus. You're trying to hook the. Let's see, +250. But you're talking about getting +3 with the Jets. Oh no, wait, we're fading.
We're fading the New York teams.
Right.
So if you do that, it's +175. What I have at Caesars. Could be different.
So you're just basically fading the two
trap lines.
Right. You take the Jaguars and I'm betting that Jaguars and Broncos to win outright. Well, the Broncos down to 2.5 now. Anyway, let's talk about that game. Jets at Broncos. I mean, there's no one is going to want to bet on the Broncos. Like I don't think public percentage matters at all, but when they release them, it's going to be heavily tilted, I think, towards the Jets. Robert Saleh's team, the defense is playing great. Quentin Williams is getting PFF grades adjusted 10 points overnight. Like, out of shame. PFF got shamed into changing a grade, apparently. The Broncos looked like trash on offense. That total is probably too high at 39.5 and may keep coming down. Any trends worth noting here?
I'll say New York is 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 road games. So again, I know that we might think that this is a little bit of a trap, but they have played well on the road. And I believe that's obviously dating back to last season too. So it's a solid thing too. It's not just like one of these random ones. It's right. Under solid, they've been pretty good recently on the road.
Well, one thing to watch in this game is the health of Russell Wilson. His hamstring got a little tweaked on Monday night, and NFL Tom Pelissero saying that it's possible it could be a fairly significant injury. Russell Wilson refuses to miss games. He took a fractured thumb last season for him to finally miss some games. So, he'll try and play if he can. The one thing about the Broncos, it's just so hard, as bad as their offense is, which, it is obviously horrible, is that their defense is that good. And so that's why, even against the Chargers, they covered the spread when I think most people thought that game was going to be an absolute blowout. And so you have a Broncos team that's giving up the 4th fewest points in the NFL. And, do you think the Jets can have much success against that? So we keep talking about this line, that Giants-Jags line that's fishy. And so you see the path that the Broncos could win this, but they've just been so bad, you don't want to pick them.
I'll say too, real quickly, because this is something last night, just real quick, Will. The one thing to look at when these player props come out, look to see what Breece Hall's reception totals are. Because yesterday I was doing the preview, and they had Austin Eckler at 4.5 at plus money. I think it was like plus 145. He had 10 receptions last night. And so if there is issues with that secondary, Zach Wilson may be throwing it a lot more short. And we've already seen Breece Hall log a number of catches. So that's one to keep an eye out.
No, it's good. Good look. Targets from Breece Hall this season: 9, 1, 11, 6, 2, and 2. So
could be like 3.5 receptions.
Now, and remember too, like against Miami and Green Bay, they won. Now they scored a lot late against both teams to make it those 2 games blowouts, but they were leading or in close games most of the way. So if Denver, like if you're playing catch up at all, it's a possibility he gets some catches. That's a good look. Breech, did you mention? I'm sorry, I was looking at I don't know what the hell I was looking at. Did you mention the tweet you dropped from Andrew Siciliano?
Yes.
Okay. Because I would bet that this spread is about to disappear. In fact, I bet it's gone in the next 15 minutes.
The crazy thing
Maybe
is,
less.
though, if Russell Wilson doesn't play, does that make you more or less likely to bet on the Broncos? Because
it's a great point.
He hasn't done anything this year to say he's worth points against the spread, except his name. You lose Russell Wilson, which in 2017 would be devastating, but in 2022, I mean, maybe the Broncos offense would look better with Brett Rippon. I don't know. It can't look any worse.
That's not even like that's like the second craziest thing someone said about Russell Wilson on this podcast in the last 12 hours. Ryan Wilson has suggested multiple times over the last 2 weeks that Russell will. We bet about shotgunning beers last night. Like, Wilson basically has to. He's like Cliff Kingsbury and Russell Wilson will both be off their respective teams by the start of 2024. Russell Wilson's not going anywhere unless you know who would be totally willing to take on Russ's massive contract?
In Carolina.
Yes, sir. David Tepper. Like, if Russ feels like he's got to get out, he's like, man, this Denver thing's really not working out.
But you're talking 85 in 2024, 85 million in dead cap money.
But you're looking at it if they cut him.
Sure. Okay.
Because I was talking with somebody about this last night too. It's like I let's look at it and see, because if you go to no, still $82 million. I mean, 2023. Like, but they're gonna. First of all, I don't think they're not gonna trade him. Like, I mean, I don't know, man.
But also, I mean, I know that you're saying like, yeah, that's very much a Carolina Panthers thing to do, but it almost reminds me of Indy too. Like, at some point, you can't keep doing these retread veterans. You do have to go into the draft and try to develop somebody.
Okay, so
$68 million hit.
$68 million hit if you trade him before June 1st. If you trade him after June 1st, it's an $18.4 million hit, but then $14.6 million the next $49.6 million the next year.
Can I pose this question to you guys? Can I pose this question?
Yes.
What if, I mean, this is kind of outlandish, but I mean, I feel like both teams would like to see these quarterbacks get a fresh start, and both these teams paid these guys. What about a Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson trade?
Just dead cap explosion all over the place.
Carnage.
You have to redo the deals to do that contract. I'm just like, it's again, if I mean, Ryan Wilson has just opened the door for outlandish suggestions. Like, let's trade. Like, I heard somebody was like, the Packers should trade Aaron Rodgers. Like, yeah, this would be $100 million dead cap hit next year.
And I almost feel like you'd have to send picks over to Arizona because Murray's so much younger. That I don't know if Denver wants to.
I would definitely want Kyler Murray instead of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just not on double XP weekend, but that's fine.
I mean, if you're the Broncos right now, are just like, oh my God, what have we done?
Because you're also, if you move, I mean, it seems inevitable at some point they're going to move on from Nathaniel Hackett. You got to remember, these coaches have guaranteed salaries. So this ownership group that just bought the team is now going to have to pay all of his salary, have a huge dead cap hit, whatever it might be.
They're not getting rid of Russ, man. They just have to keep Russ.
You're stuck in it. You're stuck
with Russell Wilson.
You need to draft a quarterback at maybe in like the second round.
Is it possible Russ is faking this hamstring injury to just get out of playing for this team right now?
Oh, God!
It's possible.
5 minutes ago, Brinson said there had been 2 crazy Russell Wilson theories. We are now up to 3. Let's just keep a running tally.
Billy suggested Kyler for Russ.
That's 4.
Yeah. Sully suggested. No, I was going to make a joke. I was going to like Sully suggested like the wall, like you make Russell Wilson spend the entire offseason as a Walmart greeter.
I mean, I think that's all.
And like, hey, you can either void your own contract or you're working at Walmart all offseason.
Every time they come in, welcome to Walmart. Well, that's right. Yeah.
He didn't say it on Monday night.
I think he got the message that maybe
no. He left.
No, I'm saying I think he got the message that maybe you shouldn't say it after a loss, especially when you didn't play so well, because he got ripped after week 5.
But he like even made this like he's like he looked at the microphone like I want to say it, but I can't say it, and I kind of wish I was in Seattle right now. Anyway. I don't know what we talked about.
Has anybody looked better in this situation than Pete Carroll? I mean, he's got Geno Smith cooking, and all of a sudden now Russell Wilson has just collapsed. I mean, he was getting dragged for a little bit there when all of a sudden he was getting dragged when they traded Russell Wilson.
A little bit.
I mean,
people wanted to fire Pete Carroll. Everyone wanted. People were like, "What? All right, Pete Carroll should just." They're like, maybe this is just Pete Carroll blowing it up for the next guy.
And even they were getting dragged for like, he's like, oh, they looked into Patrick Mahomes, and I think it was Josh Allen too. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, if this is what he's seeing, no blame.
Well, remember, I mean, famously, like that was when sort of the discord really began between the Seahawks front office and Russ, was when John Schneider was spotted. Because I think I'm the one who sent the video out. Actually, it's John Schneider is sitting there watching Josh Allen at the Wyoming Pro Day, and Allen throws an absolute bomb down the field, and Schneider turns and looks at John Dorsey, who's the boys with from their days in Green Bay, and he goes, oh. And everybody's like, ooh, do the Seahawks want a quarterback? Ooh, but it's like Seahawks maybe like Dorsey. I mean, excuse me, Schneider is like that dude is a scouting grinder. There's nothing he enjoys more being out on the field, like looking for quarterbacks. And so I think that he's the one. I mean, he's the one who sold Pete Carroll on Russell Wilson in the first place. And I think that they're like, look, we got Gino rolling right now. This is like Tavares Jackson, RIP, but like 10 times better. We could win this division, and we will stuff it in people's faces, and we're going to have some high picks. Thanks, Denver. If Russell Wilson is out for like 6 to 8 weeks with a hamstring injury, I mean, Brett Rippon might be better, as Breech says, but like that team's not going to win a ton of games. And the Seahawks should have some high picks and end up snaring a quarterback in the early rounds, and all of a sudden,
you never know. I mean, let's end this on a somewhat of a betting note. We both have we were just talking about
this podcast, Sully.
I'm just trying to make life easy for Devo and Billy. I'm just trying a little bit. And so we were just talking about the Seahawks. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins is coming back for the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals 12-1 to win that division. The Seahawks 15-1 to win that division. Is there one that you like better than the other?
Wait, sorry, the Seahawks are 15-1 to win the division?
15-1 to win the division. The worst odds in that division in the NFC.
Bet on it again, I guess. That's what I got here. I mean, that's a bet.
I can't. That's unbelievable that you have a division where 3 of the teams are tied for first place. The Cardinals have looked like absolute trash and still have better odds than the Seahawks. I think I would probably bet the Seahawks. I think the 49ers are plus 105. The Rams are plus 120. And then the Seahawks are tied for first place, but still plus 1,500. That's
just a bet. That is
sprinkle it. No,
I think I see 10-1. 15-1 is absolutely a bet
for sure.
I don't understand. 49. I mean, look, the 49ers are devastated with injuries right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're probably the best team, but they're devastated with injuries. The Seahawks should be favored of the Cardinals. That's incorrectly lined.
That's why you watch. Take advantage.
That's why you watch the show. That's why all right, Sully, take us out. I'm just kidding. You do it. If you want, I don't care. I don't mind if you.
Seahawks could be in first place after this week if they beat the Chargers.
15-1 for the Seahawks should be a bet. Like that's easily. I mean, if you have access to Caesars, go bet that. You DM me and I'll bet it. You know it too.
Desperation is a stinky cologne.
There it is. All right, that'll do it for us. One day we'll hit these times. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Back tomorrow with the Brady Quinn Football Show. I'm sure that'll be a concise. Oh, Brady owes another $1,000. We got to find a charity. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. For Sully, for Breech, I'm Brinson. We'll see you guys later.